Load the game. A brief history of time.
How's it going, guys? And welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Where we last left off, we were at what we're doing? Hang on. Let me touch it. Okay. Should we pick some kind of curiosity? Let me see here. Blah blah blah. Okay. Okay. Piqued her curiosity. It's kind of overly personal to talk about it, though. You didn't say much what to tell, what to choose. Some of you said, except one to tell the truth, so we'll go over that. It was just kind of, I was thinking about how you seem to have everything so sorted out, even with Hanako relying on you. I can admit that even I kind of relied on you when I first transferred in. I think it's a good quality to have. I turned to Lily, surveying her reaction. She's forcing herself to look forward and furrowing her brow quite a bit. Her face looks a bit awkward, as if she was trying to find just the right words. Lily? I would thank you, but assuming that I don't rely on the presence of others is too much. You'd be wrong to think that Hanako simply depends on me with nothing in return. She seems to have a bit of a trouble saying it, even though it's largely what I thought already. If she tried so hard to maintain her independence, as anyone would have had to in her position, decided or not, maybe she find it hard to talk about her own needs. It's only now that I realize an omission in what she says, though, I decide to follow it up. Largely in jest to avoid things getting too personal. Oh, and what about me? She suddenly runs ahead of me and turns, blocking me off. With a smile, she holds her hand behind her as she leans forward. You're different. And with that, she turns back and continues to walk ahead of me, a newfound spring in her step. All I can do is raise an eyebrow and give a dazed grin. I don't think I've ever seen this playful and teasing side of her before, so I'm different. It's hard to work out the exact context, but knowing her, this ambiguity was intended. Our relationship has been changing, at the very least simply because I've begun to stand on my own feet more and started getting more curious about the situation of those around me. As to why, probably a mix of personal curiosity, and I want to try and work out how to deal with my situation. I'm less sure of Lily, though. That's why her own statement, so similar to my own feelings towards her, throws me off so much. Watching her make her way up the street, cane tapping from left to right, I decide to settle the matter later and just smile. This is just nice. This is a nice side of her, and I don't want to forget it. I guess I chose good, but I think you'll choose bad things when you try to avoid it. Eventually we get to the girls' dormitories, both my arms aching from the weight of 2 sets of groceries. We're finally here. Phew. I bend down to wipe my forehead with the back of my hand. Lily stops in front of her door and sets down her bag, fishing around in her pocket for the key. Thank you, Hisao. I really appreciate your help. This is nothing. It might be nothing to you, but it's definitely something for me. And with that, she steps through the door, closing it behind her. I blink. Those were nothing but honest thanks, but I can't help feeling something different about them. What about the groceries? Are you just gonna leave them outside the door? Anyway, I have something else to do before I can mull on that at my leisure. I turn back to the door to Hanako's room and proceed. Oh no. The bag's still in my hands, rusting together. After a couple of seconds, the door slowly opens. If one weren't looking closely, they could be forgiven for thinking it hadn't moved at all. I twist my head to the side to try to peer through the tiny sliver of gap between the door and the door frame. Hey Hanako, I got your stuff! What are you buying? Hey Hanako, I got your stuff! With that, she opens the door completely, making her plain room visible over her shoulder. Sparsely decorated, it's probably even more unremarkable than my room. I hold up my right arm, both bags full, almost pulling it straight back down there with their weight. Thank you, Hisa. I'm sorry to make you carry them all this way. It's fine, don't worry. Just don't make me do it every day, okay? I passed the bags to her and I gave a light-headed chuckle. After the initial transfer of weight, she managed to take them easily. I'll be off then. Night, Hanako. Good night, and see you in class tomorrow. With a deep bow, her groceries still held in both hands, she steps back and shuts the door. Making my way back to my own dorm, I put one bag into the other hand to balance them out. Even as I do so, I can't get Lily's light-hearted smile out of my mind. When I first met her, it would have been nearly impossible to imagine her like that. Instead, it feels like we've become closer in the past few weeks since I first got to know both she and Hanako. The time that I spent with her each day, the small exchanges of happiness we share, those small moments of joy as I get closer to her. I'm far from certain, but I don't think these are just the normal feelings of friendship. Once I return to my room, I store away my groceries and begin getting ready for the night. I swapped the school's books from my bag for those I'll need tomorrow, pulling out the yellow envelope Misha gave me earlier in the process. I got so sidetracked by one thing after another that I couldn't deal with it earlier. What could have written to me, I wonder? The name neatly adorning the back of the envelope freezes me in my tracks. It's been so long since I've seen her writing. There's little chance I could have identified her as hers. Iwa Naga. Why? Why should he have written to me? I can't think of any good reason for her to do this. I almost don't open the letter, but there'd be little point to do that. If I just left it alone, its mere existence would gnaw at me until I did something about it. But we read this already. Let me save. Can I skip mode? Damn it! Blah blah blah. Barely a second thought. I can't get content out of my mind. Can I? Apparently, it says I haven't read this before. I'd like to say that I don't know why she used such old-fashioned method of communication, considering a phone call or an email would be both much faster and easier. The answer feels obvious enough given the content. A letter leaves a comfortable distance between the sender and the recipient. Unlike a phone, it isn't required for you to engage in conversation, and unlike email, there is less expectation of immediate reply. Statements such as, the third years seem to have been very anxious about the final exams, and it's so weird to think that we're already seniors, isn't it? Are just small talk. Small talk that could have been achieved by simply replying to any of the messages I'd sent to her while in hospital. The ending, though, is the true reason she sent this. The last couple of lines added almost as an afterthought. Well, what if we'll ever meet again? Perhaps it's the best for if we don't. It's a statement that should hurt. I've always heard breakups are nasty stuff, but it feels like it is simply a reaffirmation of what we both already knew instead. It's the preceding text, no more than small talk, that makes me feel almost uneasy. I can't figure out why, but no matter how long I sit here and look down at this bright summary piece of paper. If you would like to correspond with me, by all means, write me back. It's plainly obvious that this is not the type of letter to be replied to. In the end, this letter is no more than a simple abdication of responsibility, a final statement to reassure herself that our relationship is over. As such, I find I have little problem in crunching the letter and envelope into a ball and tossing it into the waste bin, ridding myself of its existence. I go to bed with mixed feelings, cheated out of a pleasant evening by this intruder from the past. Ironically, it makes a while before I can manage to sleep. Skip that. I sweat profusely, waiting the dreaded moment. Each tick of the clock tenses my muscle that much more, if admitted, making more hair stand on end. It's coming for me. I can feel it. Death. This is like Halloween special, because Halloween is near. Like this month. It was like, oh no, a scary moment. Death in the form of a single sheet of paper. What is this scary music? I take a small pile of papers from the student in front of me and pass it backwards after plugging off the top piece. Looking at the top right of the page, I find my fears realized within the small red circle. 43. I hang my head and sigh in resignation, cursing under my breath. I can feel an aura of a similar sentiment rising from the entire class. It's strange, but that fact lifts my mood by a minuscule amount. Misery loves company, I suppose. As the teacher opens his mouth, the broom braces of the inevitable onslaught. Wanted to be safe for the last minute. I quickly move to collect our bags and leave for lunch post-haste, but the teacher delivers a parting broadside. We'll be discussing the class test scores next lesson. Needless to say, there will be quite some discussion to be had. A collection groan resounds from the class, now reduced to shuffling out dejectedly. I push the sheets into my bag as to walk along the hallway, crumbling it in the process. It's enough that such a troublesome letter ended up on my desk yesterday. And now this! I hate English, even though I speak it all every day. I probably should speak Japanese. Oh, a stern female voice gruffly calls up from behind me. I freeze on the spot, my face becoming like stone. It's as if I can feel my brain disconnecting from my body. My eyes slowly shift right, trying to catch a glimpse of the disembodied voice. Nothing? My face begins to slip as time passes, and I decide to risk turning my head. Ever so slowly, I twist it to the... I jump into the air and drop my bag, yelling out in surprise. As I recover and regain my composure, I turn to see... I should have known. Emi. Gotcha, Hisao! She stands there with mischievous grin on her face, hands forward, her fingers pointed inwards. She was the one who jabbed my ribs with her fingers. I look down at her with a grimace, rubbing my hair in frustration. That's no way to greet someone, you know? You have no sense of humor. I left my sense of humor in an English class. Complain to the teacher if you want it. Give it back to me. She pulls her best puppy dog eyes on me as she pouts. Lily's managed to build up my resistance to the tactic, but Amy's short stature adds enough to the effect to make me relent. So, how are things? I haven't seen you around for a while. Same old, same old. I run so fast, nobody wants to join me on my morning runs. It's a real pain. Her modesty never fails to amuse me. Although... You know what I'm thinking? Don't you, Hisao? Wearing my emotions on my sleeve is one of my worst habits. She's seen right through me. Fortunately, I see somebody else approaching us that will give me an out. Oh, hi Hanako! Oh shit! I gave her a welcoming wave and tried my best to look at looking like I haven't noticed Amy's pouting face. She gives me a small way back. Small way back. Hello, Hisao. Amy. Hey, Hanako. I'll join you and Lily in a sec. Actually, speaking of a lunchtime company, it's odd to see you without Rin, Amy. Ah, Rin! Without a second word, she forgets all about us and bolts off up the hallway. She must have forgotten she was waiting for her. Hanako and I stand speechless, only able to helplessly stand and watch this ball of humanly boundless energy dash off. Oh yeah, Hisao! She suddenly stops herself just before vanishing around the corner to the rooftop staircase, spinning around to meet our bemused faces. I hate English too! And that she disappears. All I can do is hang my head and give a long sigh, thoroughly left in the dust. As I hear a short giggle coming from behind me, I turn to see Hanako smiling at the corner of my tag around it. I pick up my dropped bag on the floor and quickly dust it off. Afternoon, Benabashe. You don't like English? Nah. I had a test on it a while back and Amy caught me brooding about the results. Sorry. She averts her gaze, guilt-ridden onto her face. A casual observer would think she just accidentally reminded me of a dead relative. Come on, it's not your fault. How are you doing in it? She looks up, though she still avoids meeting my eyes. Alright, I suppose. An awkward silence passes. They seem all too common around Hanako. Lily asked if you'd like to join us for lunch on the roof. I guess I don't exactly have any pressing engagements to attend to. Sure, I'll be right out. I'll go get my lunch from the cafeteria now, then. Go on, you don't need my approval to leave, you know. Okay, I'll be going then. She gives a skittish reply, a small nod, and quickly makes off towards the cafeteria. I guess she must have forgotten to bring lunch today. As I walk through the hallway, more and more students start to come out of the classroom and pass me, going in the same direction as Hanako went. By the time I manage to make it to the stairs, I'm having to push my way past the busy chatting throng. What did it say? Throng. finally managed to get past the last of the crowd and round the staircase, slumping slightly in relief and slowing my pace before I opened the door to the roof. Hot damn! I momentarily averted my eyes, all but blinded by the harsh summer sun. As I slowly regained my vision, the surroundings finally take form. Lily, Amy, and Rin sit together on the rooftop, the top of the hilltop forest around Yamaku, visible past the fence around them, as if to frame the view. Isao! Lily and Rin give a quick nod of acknowledgement and a deep nod of greeting respectively. I start walking toward the rather mismatched trio, and can't help marveling at the speed which Amy devours the rest of her half-eaten banana. Hey, strange to see you three get together like this. It seems to have been quite the day of coincidences. Amy and Rin decided to eat on the roof just as Hanako and I decided to. You stole it? The spot was ours! Simmer down, you can't steal a place in the school. I plonk myself down beside Lily, the four of us creating a semicircle. I think she is right. You too? The butterfly is her accomplice. The butter? As I glance around, sure enough, the small yellow butterfly floats across my field of vision. So tell me, how could this butterfly help Lily steal this spot? It scouted out our conversation and told her. I should have known better than to expect some sound reasoning from Rin. Regardless, I guess it wouldn't hurt to play along. You're telling me she can talk to butterflies? There are people who can talk to horses, called horse whisperers. Lily must be a butterfly whisperer. I bury my head in my hands as Amy rounds on her strange companion. She doesn't seem to share Rin's sense of humor. Whisperers don't work like that. Amy and Rin continues their banter as I turn to Lily, who busily finishing off her small box of curry and rice with a pair of wooden chopsticks. So, what brought you up here anyway? Oh, a little fresh air every now and again doesn't hurt. Amy breaks off from her vain attempts to introduce the concept of logic to Rin. That was why we came up here too! Something tells me it was her idea alone, and that Rin only got dragged up here on Amy's whim. And again, the same could probably be said of Lily and Hanako. Now, we can share. The creaking of the door of the roof can be heard as soon as she says the words. A moment of silence falls over us as everyone's attention focuses on the figure appearing from it. I mean, the roof is pretty big as I can see from the background. I mean, there's plenty of room. Hanako slowly walks over to us, her eyes pinned to the ground, silently ruining the intention she's attracting. She tenses, just barely, when her eyes meet Rin's. I can't help raising an eyebrow as she walks over to us and sits next to me, doing her utmost to avoid looking up even as she brings her cafeteria bread to her mouth. So, how do you and Amy know each other anyways? Amy is somewhat well known around the school for her athletic ability. She's the fastest member of the track and field club by some margin, even beating Miki Miura at the track meet last week. Miki Miura. The tan girl from the front of my class. Considering her height and toned body, being able to beat her is quite the accomplishment. Looking over to Amy, it's very clear she's well aware of this fact that she beams proudly. So, Hisao, what's your score in English? Ouch! Burn! No comment. Boo. She puffs her cheeks and pouts, but it doesn't take long for her to bounce back. Alright, if I tell you mine, you have to tell me yours, deal? Fine. Okay, on the count of 3, we both say our results. 1, 2, 3. 32. I beam with mischievous grin. Evil! You said it, not me. Still, the fact that you managed an even lower score than me is kind of amazing. She looks and sounds like a small terrier growling at an intruder. I can't say it's the most threatening sight I've seen. Either way, scoring higher than 32 isn't something to boast about, much less scoring below it for any subject. Yes, Lily. Sorry, Lily. I could help you with your English if you'd like. It would be my pleasure to... No, that's fine, but I appreciate the thought, really. Lily looks slightly deflated by her hopes of imparting her knowledge dashed Judging from the badly hidden laughter of the rest of us, neither she or Amy seems to have garnered too much pity. As I sit happily laughing, I feel my voice suddenly cut off, my chest clenches. Yo, bad timing, brah. Don't do this to me. I sit in silence and for a few seconds, all my concentration is forced on my heartbeat. It's only a small pain, but the ache feels like it's growing. Guys, it's Halloween. Time to prank ya. Oh, breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. I glance over to try and keep at least some of my attention to my surroundings. To see Amy suddenly freezing when she noticed the expression of pain on my face out of the corner of her eye. Hey, Hisao? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm... I look back down and redouble my efforts to try and stay calm, clenching my fist and try to dull the pain. I'm fine. It takes a short time, but the pain, thankfully, begins to fade. When I look back up, there's only silence and pensive faces to be seen. I guess I'd better explain myself. Arrhythmia. I'm fine, it's just a heart flutter. Are you sure? Should we get the nurse? Taking her cue, Hanako quickly picks herself up and begins to dash to the door. Hanako, stop! Lily, I'm fine. You look like a wet, wrinkled tomato. What? As I bring my hand to my forehead, I can feel the beads of sweat gathered on it, and I dab them off. Thanks, I told you I'm fine. I'm just kind of fragile, I guess. The entire atmosphere changed from one of gaiety to downcast faces, the situation being too awkward for anyone to know exactly how to react. And of course, the whole thing is thanks to me. It just had to happen now around others. Oh, Amy? She looks up at a box of juice halfway to her mouth. I haven't told you of my score yet, have I? Yeah, well, you have foreign. So your score doesn't count anyway. Lifting an eyebrow, and inquisitively turned to Lily. What was your test result, anyway? She gives a cheeky grin. 100%. Perfect score. No way. What? No! You lie! You English half-bitch! No way. All I can do is hang my mouth open in wonder. Considering those tests are insane even for some native speakers, I can only imagine she's gone and done something like committing to mind part of that dictionary. Apart from rote memorization, maybe. That's... See? Only someone part foreigner could get a score that good. See... What? Lily and I grinned at Amy's expenses, her reaction identical to mine when I first tripped on that little landmine. Lily's foreign ancestry does raise a point though. Ah, that's right. You leave tomorrow for Scotland, don't you? That's correct. Amy heard some rumors about it. It seems word spreading quickly, considering I only told a friend of mine in my class a couple of days ago. It must be so nice to go halfway around the world on a holiday. Hey, could you buy me something while you're there? Don't be so shy. Don't be too shy now. He gives a light-hearted giggle, evidently fully expecting Amy's bluntness. The rest of the lunch continues much as the same as before, the jauntiness from before my heartfelt thankfully returned in full. Lily saves the day, as everyone files off to the appropriate farewells, only Lily and I are left. Hey Lily! She packs the last of her things into her bag and clips it shut, before perking her head up slightly. Thanks for bringing the silence back there. I kinda wanted to stop it, but didn't really know how to. As much as I'd like to sound less morose about it, the letter from yesterday screwing up a test so badly in class. Oh wait, that's the comma. The letter from yesterday, screwing up at the test so badly in class, and how my heart makes things very hard indeed. She gives an indulgent smile and nods. I hope she hasn't picked up on it, but knowing her, it's unlikely that she hasn't. Amy's strong, but only human. We do worry about you, Hisao. Hold on. Why would I worry you? The smiling face collapses, becoming uncomfortably serious. Hisao, we are not ignorant of your situation. Unlike who? She suddenly cuts herself short, unsure of whether she should say what she intends to. I give a weak smile and rest my hands on her shoulder. Don't. It's enough that I worry about it. I don't want you all to shoulder my burden. But if you all worry about it, I have to worry about your worrying, if that makes sense. I'm fine, okay? For a moment, she looks to be lost in thought, carefully pondering how to react. What was that? So, do you have any paper left from your fruit packaging? I think so. I'll just check. I rummage around in my bag for the leftovers from lunch, and eventually find a paper square for my sandwich package. My eyebrow raised and my expression rather quizzical. I gently place the square into Lily's hands. Without another word, she brings her finger around it to feel out its edges. This should be large enough. With both of us seated on the roof, the minutes to the lesson ticking away, she proceeds to lay the item on the ground and begin her work in earnest. Wrapped in silence, I watch her fingers move about on a small square with amazing dexterity. A small fold here, a larger fold there. Her fingertips keep a slow but sure pace. Looking up, her expression is calm and pleasant. The fact her face is pointed well above the sheet in front of her makes the sight of her work all the more curious. Her shoulders slumped a bit after tarnishing one final fold. Her work apparently done, it's only when she holds the item up to her hands that I realize what it is. Origami. A swan. A small origami crane. Light brown thanks to the packaging used. The result looks quite delicate and precise. You can do origami? I taught myself how to do it when I was younger. It improved my dexterity a bit. Huh. A little baffled. Careful to take the small bird from her pale cupped hands, as if it would break for the slightest breath. It seems to be folded quite well. It holds its shape easily. We both grab our bags and head out the door, Lily extending her cane as she does so. I hold Lily's handiwork up to my face to further inspection while we walk down the hallway, her hand running along the silver handrails for orientation. If she taught herself origami to improve her dexterity, with the use of her hands meaning so much to her given her condition. So that's it. I smile as I realize the bird's meaning. Everyone here has had to find their own ways of dealing with their conditions. You aren't alone here when you have problems. Thanks, Lily. I appreciate this. She gives a sweet smile and a nod, not using words that were not need to be used in her typical manner. All I ask is that you take care of yourself, Hisao. Don't worry. I will. Promise? Duh. And with that, we part ways. To be honest, I don't know what annoys me more, the fact that I could die at any moment, or the fact that everyone knows that. I guess I should take each day as it comes, as the unexpected present in my hand reminds me I'm not alone here. Even though I may be like this, I'm not alone. If everyone worries, I'll smile. I'll smile enough for their worries to go away. Boom! The moment the bells rings out, a collective sigh of relief comes from everyone. Much of the morning's been taken off by the droning lecture of what? Stoichiometry? A topic entirely unbefitting for the insufferable heat permeating the classroom. Knowing that attempting to teach anything more than the exercise in futility, Willow gives up and begins clearing the teaching materials from his desk for the day. As Mingle's banter starts filling the classroom, I notice Hanako getting up and coming to my desk. She's been a lot less withdrawn lately, which gives me a small measure of satisfaction. Hello, Isao. Hey, want to go pick up Lily then? It's close to the time when she needs to get going if she's going to make the flight. About that, she said she might be held up a bit by her classmates. I suppose that makes sense. Her class usually gets off a little earlier than ours, so Lily would normally have just come to our classroom. Her class must be sending her off. Well, never mind. We can wait outside her classroom for once, right? She gives a small giggle before nodding. The two of us taking our things and leaving for 3-2's classroom. When we reach our destination, I stop in idle amusement at the scenes inside. But the shorter girls from the class has Lily wrapped in an enthusiastic hug, her head a little higher than Lily's chin. Her other friends, of which there are several, are gathered around her as well. Lily simply smiles kindly and hugs her back. I guess Lily must be pretty popular. Compared to Shizuna's harsh but fair dictatorship of 33, Lily seems more like a model figure for 3-2, to say nothing of her height and looks. Kenji's pointedly cool demeanor as he packs up his things at his seat and back corner of the classroom is expected. He's no doubt far from a fan of a fuss being made of Lily's leaving. Looking beside me and seeing Hanako following my gaze, I decide to finally enter the room. Afternoon, Lily. It's me. And Hanako. Graphic glitches! Hanako withers noticeably when exposed to the din being made around Lily. Try as she might, I doubt she'll never completely get over her social anxiety. Hello. Lily managed to work out her position reasonably well. Classmates detaching herself without a second word. A look of slight exasperation is written on Lily's face, though I can't say I blame her. Hello, Isao. Hanako. Do you have much time before the flight leaves? I give a quick glance at my watch. Taking a trip to the airport into account, there's a good 10, maybe 15 minutes while still allowing for contingencies. Yeah, we still have a few minutes to kill. I wouldn't worry about missing it yet. Ah, this is Hanako. Uh-oh, I think we just inadvertently become entangled in Lily's social web. The girl is probably part of the legally blind faction of the class like Kenji. Given her almost window-pane-like spectacles, her short, rough-cut hair gives her a look that fits her excitable expression. Hello, She takes Hanako's hand and pulls it up and down enthusiastically. I really don't get how girls can be so social to someone they only know as a friend of a friend. While Hanako exchanges nervous greeting, I look around the room for my short and overdressed next-door neighbor. Try as I might, he seems to have slipped out of the classroom without anyone noticing. For a moment I tried to think of possible career paths that could reasonably benefit from his single skill, before putting my mind to more pertinent matters. He seems pleased, if somewhat guarded, about the enthusiasm Hanako suddenly excited from those around her. She might not see it, but Hanako's much less panicked about the affair than I anticipated. Shuffling my way through the gaggle of classmates, I eventually managed to reach her. Don't worry, Hanako's fine. Thank you. I thought she might be overwhelmed by it. Don't worry, we'll be gentle! Both of us grimace in unison. Hanako's nervous grin stays placid on her face as another couple of girls moves in to meet her. It's kind of amazing that even just a month ago she'd never have been able to cope with a situation such as this. Even when I first met her, the two of us completely alone, she sprinted from the library. So, got everything you need? It's all packed. I just have to go by my room to pick it up on the way, and Hanako and I need to change. I guess we'd better get going then, eh? Hanako's head flicks up towards in a flash. Her face rather unmistakably appreciating the chance to extricate herself from the small group gathered around her. Coming! I almost became a chill sandwich. The pod taxi. Oh, I guess next time. Oh. Shit. A long taxi ride to the airport is surprisingly pleasant, despite the three of us being rather squashed together to fit the small backseat. On the other hand, maybe despite it isn't the right word. Lily pays the fare to the driver as we file out, Hanako's eyes flitting left and right. Thankfully, there aren't too many people around, most of them being inside the main building rather than milling around on side. And this is it for this part. I hope you enjoy it. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm gonna give you guys with a high five.